Hey everybody, Martha Krejci here. So today we are talking about how to build a great Young Living team, okay? First things first, if this is your very first time here, do make sure that you click on the subscribe button and that you also hit the bell so you get notified of future videos. There's at least one video every day, okay? So today let's get into how to build a great Young Living team. So it always comes from the top, right? Whenever you're building a team, the tone is always set at the top of the team, okay? So whoever is in charge, whoever is the first on the team, right, is going to be, or not necessarily the first on the team, but whoever is in charge is the person that's going to set the tone of the team. So basically, here's some really great advice that I heard a while ago. It's probably one of the best pieces of advice so far as network marketing is concerned. Whenever or anything, honestly, whatever you want for your team to do. So if you're frustrated with your team because they're not signing up enough people, if you're frustrated with your team because they're not showing up on social media, if you're frustrated with your team because they're not doing this, that, and whatever, who cares? Whatever it is, because they're not putting their socks on right, like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If you're frustrated with your team for that same thing, for that thing, what you need to do is exactly that thing, okay? So you need to not only do it, but you need to do it out loud. You need to do it in a transparent way. And what I mean by that is, so say you want them to be signing up more people. You need to be signing up people, but not only just signing them up, you need to be letting everybody know, awesome, this person just joined the team and right? You need to be doing that if you want them to do that. Because if you're not doing it, then they're not going to think that they need to do it either. And worse, if you're doing it but not telling anybody, then they don't even know that you're doing it. So they think that you're checked out when really you're still doing your work and you're still signing people up and all of that stuff, but they have no idea what's going on. Does that make sense, you guys? We have to always be thinking, what is our team seeing right now? What do they see from me? Because what they see, they will also do. Okay, so if they see you showing up, if they see you signing people up, if they see you having fantastic conversations with people, if they see you doing social media posts that are really engaging, if they see all of that and then they see the success that comes from that, do you really think they won't do it? They'll absolutely do it. They need to see you doing it, okay? So that's a really, really big deal, okay? Another thing is positivity. You guys have a hair. There we go. The next thing is positivity. Okay. You cannot have, and I'm not the first one to say this at all, right? You cannot have negativity on your team and have it be as successful as humanly possible. Okay. Negativity is a cancer. It breeds on itself and it feeds on low-hanging fruit. Okay. So what all of those things mean is that whenever you have negative people or people that you are allowing to be negative in your space, what's going to happen is you're going to get that herd mentality and other people are going to join in and be like, yeah, this market is saturated. Blah, 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 blah. They spew their venom, right? God bless them. They just don't know a better way to do it. They just spew their venom, and then other people are like, oh, that's a good excuse. I should totally ride that train, right? Oh, that's a really good excuse. Oh yeah, nobody's buying anything. I'm going to ride that train. Oh, you're right. You're right. There's so many Royal Crown diamonds around us. Nobody is left to join Young Living under me in the area, right? You're totally right. And then they all just sort of get in this amalgamate of negativity. I imagine Pigpen from Peanuts. That ages me a little bit, but whatever. Look it up. Google it if you need to. But Pigpen is he's got all this aura of funk, right? And that's what it reminds me of, is these people, they sort of just gather around each other in this aura of ugh. and funk. There's not even words for it, right? It's just gross. But what that does to the rest of the team is it makes them question what they're doing and why they're doing it, and they would not have been questioning that any other way, okay? And the questioning of that isn't even true, right? Because what we have with what we do, we have a system. We know when you work the system works. We know that, right? But there will always be people that want to cut corners. There will always be people looking for excuses or looking for reasons why it's not working for them, right? Like there will always be those people. And whenever they start to show their face, you need to squash that. So if it's in a leadership group that they start showing that stuff, have a side conversation with them and say, hey, listen, it's okay if you don't feel like building. That's totally fine. What are your thoughts? What are you wanting to do here? They're probably going to tell you that they don't want to. Awesome. Let me just go ahead and get you out of this group. Get them out. Get them out. Get them out of your pool, okay? They don't, just because somebody said they wanted to build at one point doesn't mean they need to be in that group for all of eternity. It's your group. You decide what happens in there. Don't feel like you have to abide by some sort of rules or laws or whatever about what happens in your group, right? You manage the culture. That's what every single group that I have, I manage the culture in there to a T. And in the beginning, it does take work to keep that culture together. But I'm telling you this, after some time, it is just a known. It's a known that you don't get poopy in that group, right? It's a known that you don't go sideways in that group. It's a known that you are always loving and heartfelt and supportive. It's a known, right? And that's culture. That means that you've created culture, right? And every single one of us does create a culture. It just depends on if you're being intentional and focused with the culture that you choose to create. Okay. Next, and the last thing, know your resources. Okay. You do not need to know everything about everything, okay? I had a team member message me today that said, hey, can you send me info on all of the different, the ways that you can use the cleaner? And I was like, I literally messaged back to her. I was like, cool, let me just Google it for you. And I did. And then I sent her an infographic from Google. And that was me letting her know I was using my resources. So inadvertently, I was saying, okay, I'll do that, but I'm doing this and you could have done this too. Like that's the sort of thing, right? Also understand that whenever people are asking you things like that you don't have to be the end all resource for things, okay? If they're asking you a question and pushing you on an answer, that doesn't mean you have to get it for them. Just say, hey, listen, give me 24 hours, I'll be back with you, right? And then ask somebody else and whatever. Understand, that's the thing is, I think that a lot of people kind of get paralyzed a little bit in leadership in thinking that they need to know everything. And you absolutely do not need to know anything, honestly. You need to know who to ask. You need to know where your resources are. What is the thing? I mean, Google was my resource in that instance, right? Sometimes your resource is an upline. Sometimes your resource is just simply the website. Your resources are all over the place. Your resource could be in Gold Getters. Your resource could be in Go for Gold, and then you point them in the direction of Go for Gold, or you suggest to them to get into Silver Made Simple. Maybe that is the resource. You guys, Silver Made Simple, just in case you didn't know this already, Silver Made Simple is the like perfect onboarding experience for anybody, period. Whether you started 15 years ago or you started today, Silver Made Simple is going to walk you through day by day with checklists of exactly how to build your business in 2 hours or less a day, period. I'm going to drop the mic on that because that's what Silver Made Simple is, in case you didn't know. So that, along with Go for Gold, which is the system, the system of how you actually move a lead into a member, right? Because you need the system and then you need the checklist. Aside from that, everything else that I have is like, you know, if you want to drill down on how to bring in builders specifically, if you want to do the 20 and 30, those things are more like specific, just drill down if you want to. Really, go for gold, silver made simple. You're good unless you want to do a little bit more studying. Seriously, it's fantastic. Okay. Aside from that, well, that's all I got. That's all I got. That is how you build a great Young Living team, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.